Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your January 31st SmackDown episode. Also 205 Live. But you got birthdays. January 28th birthday, SmackDown superstar Sheamus turned 42 years old. When Celtic Warrior defeated Shorty G during the match on Sunday's Royal Rumble kickoff pre-show. And should be back regular in ring action with this Friday SmackDown on Fox. Stay tuned for the results. January 28th birthday is also Shark Boy, 1975. Sonata, 1988. January 29th birthday, Bob Hardcore Holly, 1963. January 30th birthday, Giant Gonzalez, 1966. Becky Lynch, 1987. Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud, 1983. And rounding out 31st birthday, David Finlay, 1958. WWE has announced that 3 new W Performance Center recruits have reported to Orlando, training for the NXT developmental deals. All 3 talents come from India. Gurvinder Singh, Sukhwinder Gruel, and Lakshmi Kant Rajput. Singh is 7 foot tall, 310 pounds, while Gruel stands 7 foot 2 and weighs in at 340 pounds. Singh and Gruel have both trained under former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the Great Khali. That WWE NXT says at this link, 2 7 foot tall trainees of hashtag the Great Khali are among the latest recruits from India to report to the WWE Performance Center. Also noted, U.S. Champion Andrade has been suspended for 30 days due to his first violation of the wellness policy. The suspension begins today. Creative did not know of the suspension until Monday afternoon. WWE doesn't have to suspend wrestlers as soon as wellness violations come back, as the policy is to tie up loose ends first, then announce the suspension. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE Creative found out about Andrade's suspension on Monday and went from there, writing him off TV with Roberto Carrillo dropping him on the exposed concrete with the DDT. No word yet on when the positive test comes back, but only Vince McMahon and other WWE high-ups knew about the violation before yesterday. Meltzer also noted that no one knew of the violation until Sunday, before Andrade retained over Carrillo on the Royal Rumble kickoff pre-show. But maybe the WWE higher-ups in Vince's inner circle, it is possible that Vince and the other higher-ups didn't find out about the suspension until Monday. Carrillo's DDT to Andrade wasn't in the original Raw script for Monday night. From that night, the decision was made by Raw Executive Director Paul Heyman to keep the title on Andrade. The usual protocol would be to drop the title, but Heyman is very high on Andrade and felt like it was too early in the feud with Carrillo to put the title on Carrillo, according to WOR. Heyman reportedly wants to make Andrade a real franchise player, and while that doesn't mean Carrillo won't be Andrade in this feud, Heyman does want to establish Andrade as a cornerstone talent for the company. Andrade is one of the newer talents that Heyman is really high up on. The group also includes the Viking Raiders, Drew McIntyre, and Aleister Black, and guys like Carrillo and Eric Rowan as well, while McIntyre will be the one challenging WWE Champion Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36. Meltzer noted that Black had been in the running for the match with Lesnar. No word yet on why they went with McIntyre over Black, but a big push for McIntyre had been talked about for months, for more than a year. No word yet on what led to Andrade's violation or what they have planned for him when he returns, but stay tuned and I'll give you updates. Hall of Famer Edge participated in a pre-show photo at this link while backstage at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas last night from Raw. You can see the video from the shoot. Also noted, last night's post-Rumble Raw ended after Randy Orton destroyed Edge and left him laying in the ring right after proposing a rated R KO return. This came after Edge returned in Sunday's 30-man Royal Rumble match. Teamed over to Orton, but ended tossing him. WWE announced a storyline update on Edge and noted that he was taken to a local medical facility. Orton vs. Edge was reportedly planned for WrestleMania 36. It's been reported that Rated R Superstar has inked a new 3-year deal with the company. And that he's back for a special attraction. Matches for several TV appearances. He noted on Raw last night that he is in the best physical shape of his life and that he fought to get cleared. He also said he's returned home to end his career on his own terms. As noted, WWE Royal Rumble Sunday, there was reportedly a verbal altercation backstage between champion Brock Lesnar and NXT superstar Matt Riddle at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, before the pay-per-view began. There was a lot of details available on Sunday, but the original story from Pro Wrestling Sheet noted that the two superstars passed each other while walking backstage. An intense encounter came out of that. One source noted that Lesnar saw Riddle and wanted him to know the reality of the situation between the two. Furthermore, it was noted that by multiple sources that the encounter between Lesnar and Riddle was real and not something that was a part of any storyline. Apparently, both men met for the first time at Sunday's big event. TalkSport out of the UK was at the event this past Sunday. In an update, Alex McCarthy of TalkSport reports that Lesnar approached Riddle backstage and grabbed his shoulder to get his attention. It was alleged that Lesnar then said to Riddle, "Kid, you might as well stop saying my name and tagging me in crap because you and I will never work together, ever." Riddle reportedly tried talking to Lesnar when they first encountered each other, but didn't really get a chance to. Lesnar said what he had to say and kept things moving. It was also noted that the bro of NXT was usual, cool, and composed self during the altercation, and that tensions never really got too high. It's interesting to note that McCarthy's report mentioned how Riddle was not punished during the 30-man Rumble match later that night. It was speculated on social media that Riddle's brief appearance was some sort of punishment for the altercation, but McCarthy said Riddle's elimination went down how it had been planned all along. Riddle entered the Rumble at number 23 and was the 18th elimination by King Corbin. After being in for 41 seconds, Lesnar had already been eliminated by the time Riddle was tossed. Earlier, Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, that Riddle has backstage heat in the company, which is why he was booked the way he was in the Rumble match. Meltzer noted that there is a lot of heat on Riddle right now. While it's still not known exactly why Riddle has heat within the company, it's likely that he has rubbed some people the wrong way over the past few years, as he has spoken out against Lesnar and WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg in numerous media interviews, also on social media. Well, being that Goldberg is going to be a Super Showdown, I wonder if Riddle's going to be there. He might say something to Goldberg then. Just a spoiler, my prediction, if he's going to say something. McCarthy also noted that it looked like Riddle would be in the Rumble match on Friday when WWE canceled Riddle's planned media interview for Sunday morning. The interview was likely nixed because Riddle was needed at Minute Maid Park for the Rumble match rehearsals and meetings. Fred Ottman, formerly known as Tugboat, had a 90s run in WWF and WCW and many characters, most infamously the Shockmaster. But his breakthrough came as Tugboat in the early 90s in WWF, as he was one of Hulk Hogan's closest allies against the Hills at the time. Ottman talked about his run as Hogan's cheerleader at this link during an interview with Wrestling Inc. reporter Andy Monoski. And here's some of the highlights. Oh, it was fantastic. I came into the business and they put me in there as Tugboat. At one point, I was Hulk Hogan's cheerleader, recalled Ottman. When Earthquake hurt him and put him out, it was a surreal character. It was a great time. I was a wrestling fan before I became a wrestler. Then I became a wrestler and still a wrestling fan today. There's a lot of new young talent and new different companies. There's a lot of different styles that people can watch today. It's tremendous. In addition to the major promotions, Ottman also wrestled in Japan and for various indie companies. He was also asked that the greatest moment of his wrestling career was. When I finally made it to WWF, it was somewhere where I always wanted to be when I got started wrestling. A gentleman by the name of the Great Malenko trained me, and I watched him as a kid. When I went to the WWF, I walked through the curtains, and my first tryout match was in Niagara Falls. Every champion from every part of the world that I watched wrestle was there. I got so nervous that I almost pulled the curtains out coming through the first time. I also had a shockmaster moment in my inception into the WWF, said Ottman. Ottman also cited visiting over 40 countries as a highlight of his career, and doing conventions like this is also something he cherishes in his post-wrestling career. Former WWE US champion made a surprise return to the WWE WWE entering in number 12 in the 30-man Rumble match this past Sunday. MVP was reportedly be making a few appearances with WWE. He competed against Rey Mysterio on Monday Night Raw. MVP reflected on his weekend with WWE, talking about what it has meant for him and his son. Miami will always be my home, but my son was born in Houston, and a lot of people were asking me, are you excited about the Rumble? Of course, it's the Rumble, but I was excited for a different reason. As MVP said, my little man was there. He's a massive wrestling fan. For him to be able to experience Daddy, as he calls it, Daddy fighting in the WWE ring, and hear MVP chants. MVP reflected on when he was his son's age. He talked about seeing Dusty Rhodes wrestle at a show that his mom took him to. My mother took me to the Miami Beach Convention Center when I was in the first grade, where my son is now. And I will always remember Dusty Rhodes, MVP said. I know I gave him something, a memory that will outlast me, and I'm thrilled about that. MVP wrestled on Monday Night Raw for the first time in nearly years. MVP wrestled Rey Mysterio, and he talked about the experience of coming back to Raw and wrestling someone who he's known for a long time, a decade away. Coming back to Monday Night Raw, there's nothing like Monday Night Raw. It's live, no safety net, you're out there, and you don't get any bigger than that, MVP said. I've wrestled Rey Mysterio so many times all around the world, the honor, the privilege, it's WWE. To come back here after all this time and get in the flow, right in the thick of things. And my son was watching tonight. Again, that just changes everything. He was watching Daddy against Rey Mysterio. I know who he was rooting for, and Mark Henry was kind enough to give him a little gift to share with my son, so we're in a good space right now. The former WWE US champion took to Instagram on Wednesday night, and he said his final WWE match took place on this week's Raw from San Antonio, Texas. The loss to Rey Mysterio. One for the history books, my final WWE match took place on Monday Night Raw against my close friend and legend at 619 Lucha. A great way to close out that chapter. The end of my career looms larger every month. It's been one hell of a ride. I'm not finished just yet, but soon, very soon. Thank you at WWE and at the hashtag WWE Universe for all the love. What an amazing week I've had. It had been reported that MVP was back in WWE just for a few appearances, but nothing long term. It was believed that he would be back for more than the Rumble and Raw, but his new post indicates otherwise. As noted, MVP thanked Rey after the Rumble and said he made the return so his son could see him wrestle. And we have the SmackDown results. We go to the results from the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. As the power goes off, but the power go off as well. Also, looks like we get a little extra power for tonight's Super SmackDown theme. Michael Colesall welcomes us to the show, chimed in with Corey Graves. Go right to the ring. Out comes Roman Reigns to a pop. Reigns stops on the stage and puts his fist down for even more fireworks. Reigns hits the ring as Greg Hamilton does ring introductions. Reigns marches to the ring as Coleslaw shows us stills from big shows. Big Dogs, Falls Count Anywhere win over King Corbin at Minute Maid Park during Sunday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Cole also talks about how it came down to Reigns and winner of Drew McIntyre in Sunday's 30-man Royal Rumble main event. Usos were out next to join in Reigns in the ring. Reigns takes the mic and says, the good news is that he kicked Corbin's butt all over Minute Maid Park on Sunday. The bad news is that Reigns stops to think about it. Looking disappointed, Usos finish his sentence and says, Reigns lost. He lost the Rumble match. Reigns says he did lose, and he doesn't like to lose. But they're going to make it all right tonight by kicking King Corbin's butt as the little B words. Then focus on WrestleMania 36. Music interrupts. Out comes Corbin. Out with Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to the stage. Fans boo as Corbin tells them to save it because they feel the feeling is mutual. Corbin says Reigns cheated and only won the match on Sunday because the Usos helped him. Corbin says he would have done better and even won the Rumble match if it wasn't for the cheating in the Falls Count Anywhere match. Corbin says he demanded this 6-man match because he was right. He wants Reigns and the Usos to pay for keeping him from the title shot at WrestleMania. But he didn't mention that his buddies came to the ring to help him and what have you. Well, this brought up then he wants Reigns and the Usos to pay for keeping him from the title shot at WrestleMania. Jimmy and Jay take turns taking shots at Corbin. Roode and Ziggler now. Corbin says he bets that they have had a lot of time to come up with jokes while they were sitting home after embarrassing their family. A reference to Jimmy's legal troubles, Corbin shows us a replay of how they embarrassed Reigns with dog food last month. Reigns says either Corbin has a weird dog food fetish or he's still living in that moment, as if the best moment of his career. Reigns proposes a stipulation for tonight's match, mentioning it as the main event. The loser will have to eat dog food? Fan chat yes, as Reigns waits for an answer. Corbin accepts the stipulation. Usos are glad Corbin accepted because they have a surprise they brought. Then they have a huge amount of wet dog food brought to the stage on a table. Music hits and out as the announcers hype tonight's lineup for the Super SmackDown. Number 1 contenders for Fatal 4-Way, Heavy Machinery versus Revival versus Miz and John Morrison versus the Lucha House Party. We go to the ring for tonight's Fatal 4-Way opener, and out comes Tucker and Otis of Heavy Machinery. Winners of this match will become the new number 1 contender to challenge the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day, at WWE Super Showdown, Saudi Arabia, next month. Otis and Tucker hit the ring as we go to commercial. Back for the break, Revival is wrapping their interest. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Lucha House Party is also in the ring already. Desperado, Graham Metallic. No signs of Kalisto. He's out with an injury. Out next comes Miz for the first time for his team. Morrison is out next. They head to the ring together. Dash starts off with Tucker as they go at it. Tucker drops Dash with a shoulder. They go at it, and Tucker drops Dash with a shoulder. They go at it again. Tucker catches Dash in a bear hug. Otis tags in for a pop. Tucker tosses Dash into a bear hug from Otis. Otis keeps it locked in the middle of the ring. Dash fights free with headbutts. Dash clubs Otis around. And in comes Dawson for a double team. Morrison and Metallic in to go at it now. Metallic gets the upper hand and covers, but the Revival break it up. Lynch flies in and takes out the Revival with a double team. Otis and Tucker come in, overpower Lucha House Party, but it backfires and they get sent to the floor. Duarte flies out, but Dash and Dawson catch him. Then drive him face first into the ring post. Morrison levels Metallic with a kick, sending him to the floor to avoid a pin. Morrison goes up top and flies out, taking down Tucker and Otis on the floor. Miz is alone in the ring now as Morrison and fans cheer him on. Miz looks to run the ropes, but Dawson cuts him off with a big clothesline. Lance comes in and kicks Dawson, sending him back out. Lance runs the ropes and leaps out, taking down the other competitors in the match. We go to commercial with everyone down on the outside of the ring. Back from the break, and Liz is going at it with Morrison in the ring. Miz tags in for a pop from the crowd, and they double team him, but miss. Morrison drops Metallic off the apron. Dorado with a double stunner to Miz and Morrison. Lynch looks for a tag, but Metallic is down on the floor. Otis tags in and unloads on Miz and Morrison. Then the Revival, as they run in, Otis scoots Miz and spins around, then slams him. Tucker also comes in with some offense for a pop. Morrison kicks Otis. Otis keeps taking shots, but just gets fired up, dancing around while removing his shirt. Otis launches Morrison with a big overhead throw. Otis with a running double splash to Miz and Morrison in the corner. Fans cheer as Otis hits a caterpillar on Miz and Morrison at the same time. Miz kicks out just in time. Otis walks into a big boot from Miz. Miz comes off the second rope, but Otis catches him with a crossbody. Tucker comes in for a compactor, but Dash sends him to the floor. Otis blocks the skull-crushing finale. More back and forth. Otis slams Miz, but Dash breaks it up. As he's the legal man, Dawson unloads on Otis. Metallic tags in and unloads on Dawson. Lynch flies off the top for a close 2 count on Dawson. There is chaos now as everyone gets involved. Morrison flies in with a spear to Tucker. Otis with a sit-down powerbomb to Morrison, but he kicks out just before the 1 count. Dawson and Otis tangle now. Dawson nails the DDT. Lynch and Dawson trade offense now. Lynch with a bottom rope moonsault. Then second rope moonsault. Lynch goes up top for the third, but Dash cuts him off. Dawson takes Lynch to the top, hits a big back superplex. Dash follows up with a top rope slash. Dash sends him to the floor as Dawson rolls Miz for a 2 count. Miz comes right back with skull-crushing finale to Dawson. Morrison tags in and follows up with Starship Pain to Dawson for the pin to earn the title shot. Winners of the match and new number 1 contenders, Miz and Morrison. After the match, Miz and Morrison celebrate as Morrison's music hits. Their title shot is confirmed for WWE Super Showdown 2020 in Saudi Arabia, February 29th, I believe. We got another look at the dog food on the stage as Graves confirms the stipulation for the main event. We see a few shots of the Fiend whipping Daniel Bryan during their strap match at Royal Rumble. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we see a frustrated Heavy Machinery backstage. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville walk up. Rose thanks Otis for helping her during the 30-woman Rumble match on Sunday. This led to Otis asking Mandy out for a date for next Friday. Rose says she has plans next Friday. Otis looks shocked and disappointed. Rose says, but she doesn't have plans for the following Friday. Otis is thrilled. Rose and Deville walk off to get ready for a match. Tucker points out to Otis that now he plans for a date on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Coleslaw and Graves show us a video highlight from the Rumble strap match between Daniel Bryan and Universal Champion The Fiend, who retained. We also see Bryan's post-match comments where he revealed the welts on his back and talked about how he faced time wife Brie Bella and daughter Birdie. But Brie wouldn't let Birdie see her daddy's boo-boos because they were too graphic. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. We go to the back as Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss make their way out. Winners of this match become new number 1 contenders to tag team champions Asuka and Kairi Sane. The Kabuki Warriors. I don't think they've had a title match in 30 days. We go to another break. Back for the break. Coleslaw plugs the NFL Super Showdown. It shows us highlights from the halftime heat in 1999. We go back to the ring as Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come out. The bell rings and Rose and Deville attack Bliss and Cross in the corner as they're talking. Cross ends up trapping Deville in the apron on the outside, beating her up. Bliss comes over and rocks Deville. Rose nails Bliss on the floor, and Deville sends Bliss into the announce table. Deville brings Bliss into the ring and works her over as the referee backs her off, warning her and checking on Bliss as she holds her neck. The bell finally rings. Deville goes right for a 2 count on Bliss. Deville with knees to Bliss while she's down. Rose tags in and stomps on Bliss in the corner. Fans try to rally for Bliss, but in comes Deville on another tag. Deville controls Bliss and grounds her. More back and forth between the two sides. Cross breaks up Rhodes' 2 count on Bliss. Rhodes takes Bliss back to the corner and beats her down. DeVille and Rhodes with more quick tags. Bliss finally drops DeVille with a big strike. Cross reaches for a tag as Bliss slowly crawls. Rhodes tags in and goes for Bliss, but gets sent into the bottom turnbuckle. Bliss finally tags in Cross. Cross unloads on Rhodes with clothesline, then knocks DeVille off the apron for a pop. Cross splashes Rhodes in the corner and hits a running bulldog. Cole Saul now says that the winners may earn a future title shot from Sane and Oscar. Cross screams some more and runs wild. Going to the top, Cross nails a crossbody to Rhodes for a 2 count as DeVille breaks it up with a running knee. Bliss runs in and drops DeVille with a right hand. Rhodes turns around on Cross and drops her. Cross comes back with a neck breaker. Bliss tags in and goes to the top as fans cheer her on. Bliss nails a Twisted Bliss on Rhodes for the pin and the win. New number 1 contenders, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. After the match, announcers are giving mixed signals on if Cross and Bliss have earned a title shot or not. Music hits, and as they celebrate, and we get replays. We see Shinsuke Nakamura and his crew walking backstage. We also see Braun Strowman walking. Cole sends us to a video package showing recent happenings between Strowman and Nakamura. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we get another Super Bowl plug. We also see someone mixing up a large vat of dog food on the stage. In a Continental title match, Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We'll go to the ring. Out first comes Braun Strowman to a pop. Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura was out next with Cesaro and Sami Zayn. The bell rings and they size each other up as Sami talks trash already. Nakamura starts off with kicks. Braun drops Shinsuke with his big shoulder. Braun charges in the corner but runs into a boot. Nakamura jumps on Braun's back with a sleeper now, but Braun rams him back into the corner and breaks it. Braun with a big strike in the corner now. Sami gets up on the apron to distract the referee, but Braun keeps control. Braun misses a running big boot in the corner. Sami with another distraction from the apron. As Nakamura works Braun over and grounds him. Fans boo as Sami rocks Braun from the apron while Nakamura distracts the referee. Nakamura grounds Braun in the middle of the ring. Braun looks to turn it around, but Nakamura takes him back to the corner and unloads with kicks. Braun powers out and clubs Nakamura down with a huge blow. Braun with 2 more big shoulders now. Braun launches Nakamura and lands a big splash in the corner. Braun continues to dominate as fans cheer him on. Nakamura rolls to the floor for a breather, but Braun runs around the ring, dropping him with a shoulder block. Braun brings him back to the ring and scoops him for the power slam, but Nakamura slides out. They take on Nakamura, drops Braun with a kick to the back of the neck. Nakamura follows up with a stiff knee for another close 2 count. Sami starts exposing the top turnbuckle as the referee yells at him. Cesaro tries to come in with a cheap shot, but the referee stops him. This leads to Strowman sending Nakamura into the exposed turnbuckle. Braun goes on and nails a big power slam to Nakamura for the pin and the win, and becomes, for the first time ever, WWE Intercontinental Champion. Back for the break, Sami is backstage, ranting to Cesaro and Shinsuke about the injustice what that just happened to them. Elise Action walks up for comments, and Sami rants to her, running her down. Sami is interrupted by the sound of Elias' guitar in the ring. Sami is not happy tonight. Sami and Elias have words. Elias keeps playing to taunt him. Sami sends Cesaro to the ring to take care of the situation. So we get Elias versus Cesaro. We go to the ring and Elias introduces himself to a pop. He says, "We are on the road to WrestleMania 36. And you know what that means? He wrote everyone here tonight a new song. He asks everyone to clap along. The music interrupts. Out comes Cesaro. Elias attacks and Cesaro as Cesaro enters the ring. Cesaro fights back, but Elias gets the upper hand. Elias with a clothesline, delivering more aggressive offense than usual. Elias then knocks Cesaro out of the ring with a big knee. The bell never rang. Elias' music starts back up. He poses in the corner as Cesaro stumbles up the ramp. And now to plug Graves is After the Bell podcast and how Ronda Rousey was one of his guests this week. Graves says if he wasn't a betting man, he bet on seeing Rousey return to WWE soon. Coleslaw mentions that Hal Sheamus was also a recent guest. Sends us to a video package on Shorty G and Sheamus. with some footage from Sheamus' win over G during the Royal Rumble kickoff pre-show on Sunday. Well, that match is up next. We got a ring for the rematch from Sunday. Sheamus is out first. Sheamus just makes it out to the stage, but Shorty G comes from behind and drops him. G keeps running into the ring and enters. Sheamus gets to his feet on the stage, and he's furious. G watches for the ring as we go back to commercial. Back for the break, Sheamus is in control. Cole says that the Celtic Warrior has dominated through the break. G sends Sheamus to the floor, but Sheamus catches him in midair and delivers a rolling senton on the floor. Sheamus brings him back in the ring and stomps on G now. Sheamus continues to dominate and talk trash, keeping G down. G fights back and connects with a headbutt, but Sheamus drops him and sends him back out. G catches Sheamus on the apron. G fights back through the apron with forearms and punches. G goes back to the top and hits a missile drop kick in the middle of the ring. G with a corner cannonball, putting Sheamus back down. G goes back to the top and nails a moonsault for a close 2 count. Sheamus counters and comes back with an offense. Sheamus nails the Irish curse backbreaker and nails a bow kick for the pin and the win. After the match, Sheamus stands tall. As the music plays, we get a quick replay and comes back to Sheamus posing after the win. Back for the break, Drew McIntyre is announced for Tuesday's WWE Backstage on FS1. We go to the ring. Out comes SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley to the ring. Bayley is all smiles tonight as fans boo her when she enters the ring. Cole points out how next week's SmackDown will take place from Bayley's hometown of San Jose, California. Bayley says, "Dang, I'm good." She raises the title and goes on about how she, a role model, defeated Lacey Evans to retain her title at the Rumble. Fans quickly give Bayley the what treatment. Bayley says she got payback on Evans for injuring her friend Sasha Banks and forcing her to miss the Rumble. Bayley says she did all that with Evans' daughter sitting in the front row. Fans boo Bayley. Bayley says now Evans' daughter Summer has to look at her mother knowing she's a loser. Bayley says Summer can sit in the crowd with the rest of the sheep and watch her now if she needs someone to look up to. Bayley goes on and says it's a given that Charlotte Flair will pick her for the title shot at WrestleMania 36. Bayley calls Flair out, but the music interrupts and out comes Naomi instead. For her first appearance since returning to action in the 30 Women Rumble match on Sunday, Naomi is wearing a new helmet, covering her face and lit up with LED lights. Graves calls it an LED fishbowl on her head. Naomi dances around and hits the ring as Bayley looks down at her. Naomi takes the mic and says she's missed SmackDown. She couldn't help but hear all the trash talking. She says Bayley is out here lying, saying she's beaten everyone. Naomi says Bayley has never defeated her. Naomi says, as a former SmackDown Women's Champion, the title could use some glow, and the next chance she gets, she's going to drag Bayley. Bayley drops Naomi with a shot to the face with the title out of nowhere. Fans boo as Bayley mounts Naomi with more strikes. Naomi comes back and hits a springboard kick for the second rope as fans pop, sending Bayley back out to the floor. On her back, Naomi gets fired up as the music starts back up. Bayley recovers on the ground as Naomi dances around the ring to her music. And your loser eats dog food match. Roman Reigns and the Usos versus King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. Music interrupts Naomi's celebration, and out comes the Usos. Her husband Jimmy and Jay. They greet each other on the ramp. Usos hit the ring for tonight's main event, which will see the losers eat dog food. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Roman is now in the ring with the Usos. Reigns and the Usos are looking at the table full of dog food at ringside. Out next comes King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode for tonight's 6-man main event. Corbin and Jimmy go at it to start. Jay comes in for a double team. Jay ends up sent over the top rope to the floor. Roode catches Jay on the floor with a big spine buster. Jay gets sent over into the timekeeper's area now. Dog food is on display in front of the announcers, and everyone is disgusted by it. We go to commercial with King Corbin in control. Back for the break. Roode is going at it with Jay. Jay finally drops him, and then comes Ziggler. Ziggler also goes down. Corbin tags in and knocks Reigns off the apron. then sends Jay into the ring post to prevent a tag. Corbin covers Jay for a close 2 count. Corbin grounds Jay and tells him to look out at the dog food. Jay fights off all 3 opponents from the corner as Reigns returns to the apron to reach for the tag. Reigns tags in for a big pop. Reigns unloads on Corbin as fans cheer him on. Reigns unloads in the corner with clothesline as fans count along with him. Reigns levels Corbin with a big boot in the middle of the ring. Reigns ready for the Superman punch, but he has to fight off the distraction first. Corbin to Reigns angle again in the middle of the ring. Corbin counters and chokeslams Reigns for a close 2 count. Corbin goes out and sends Jay into the steel ring steps. Corbin walks over to check out all the dog food now. Corbin goes back in, but Reigns rocks him with uppercuts. Rude runs in and distracts the referee, allowing Corbin to rake his eyes and Ziggler to run in with a super kick. Corbin drops Reigns with a deep 6, but he somehow kicks out. Corbin is frustrated. Fan chant Roman now as Jimmy comes back into the mix. Jimmy stops Rude from handing the scepter to Corbin, sending Rude over the announce table with a suicide dive. Ziggler gets involved as chaos breaks out. Jay nails the suicide dive, sending Ziggler over the announce table. Corbin and Reigns go at it real quick, but Reigns rolls Corbin up out of nowhere for the pin and the win. The winners of the match, Roman Reigns and Usos. After the match, Reigns and Usos celebrate as the music plays. The music stops and the Usos bring the chains and handcuffs over to cuff Corbin at ringside. He tries to fight them off, but Reigns levels him with a big spear at ringside. Ziggler and Rude are still trapped over on the other side of the announce table. They chain Corbin to the ring post like Reigns was chained up last month when they did dog food on him. Reigns and the Usos roll the cart of dog food over, and Reigns starts flinging it on him, teasing him like he was going to put it in his mouth. Usos grab the large tub of dog food and pour it all over Corbin. Then the crowd pops. Reigns dumps another tub of wet dog food over Corbin. Reigns and the Usos pose for a photo, all smiles in front of a dog food covered Corbin. Fans continue to cheer them on. Super SmackDown goes off the air with Reigns and Usos celebrating in the ring as Reigns' music hits. And we go to 205 Live. Results. As the action continued inside the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma, immediately following the live post-Rumble episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, as the Cruiserweight division will be on display. 205 Live returns on the WWE Network. We are welcomed by Aiden English and John Quasto, who discussed the end of Friday Night SmackDown, declaring it smells strongly of dog food at ringside. A video clip is set up of last Friday's 205 Live, where Ari Daivari and Kendrick discussed Danny Burch's match. Danny Burch versus Brian Kendrick is announced for later. Tyler Breeze and Angel Garza, Tyler Breeze versus Angel Garza as the main event for tonight. Joaquin Wilde versus Raul Mendoza, first match. First comes Joaquin Wilde as his usual sound, as his music sounds in the arena. Wilde stops at the top of the ramp wearing his helmet, posing as he makes his way down the ramp and enters the ring as a bass shakes the arena. Wilde climbs through the ropes and enters the ring. Wilde climbs the ring post to the top turnbuckle, doing a mini dance to hype the crowd before he jumps back down to the mat, waiting for his opponent for tonight's first match of 205 Live. Next in the ring is Raul Mendoza. Mendoza makes his way out to the top of the ramp as the music sounds in the arena. Mendoza makes his way down the ramp and enters the ring where his opponent, Joaquin Wilde, is waiting. The referee signals for the bell to ring, and the match is officially beginning. A lockup begin the match as both men refuse to let go. Wilde trying to break free as Mendoza twists the arm of Wilde, locking a half Nelson to take Wilde to the mat. Mendoza attempts to cover. Wilde kicks out. Wilde then attempts a cover of his own. Mendoza kicking out. Mendoza sends Wilde to the corner of the ring. Wilde is picked up by Mendoza. Being held on the shoulders of Mendoza, Wilde attempts to break free, and he hits. And as he hits and quickly, he kicks wildly. Mendoza takes another elbow strike from Wilde. Mendoza drops Wilde, but counters with a shoulder tackle. Wilde hits Mendoza in the midsection. Wilde gets to the top rope. hitting flying senton on Mendoza outside of the ring. Wild grabs Mendoza and throws him back in the ring. To attempt to finish the match, Wild goes to the top rope once again for a high-flying move. Mendoza blocks Wild mid-air as he throws his legs up and kicks Wild in the air. Mendoza hits a moonsault and goes for the cover. Mendoza with the multiple kicks, and Wild takes advantage of the momentum and hits the Wild thing for the pin and the win. For those that don't know Joaquin Wild, that's formerly DJ Zima Ion from Impact Wrestling. He also had eye surgery recently. Well, there you go. And your next match is Brian Kendrick with Ari DeVere versus Danny Burch. Outbursts to the ring, the Brian Kendrick and his music sounds in the arena, and he makes his way down the ramp. Entering the ring, accompanied by Ari DeVere. Next out is Danny Burch, who wastes no time heading to the ring as his music sounds in the arena. Burch quickly enters the ring. Kendrick slides out of the ring. Kendrick goes to do his best to avoid Burch. DeVere distracts Burch, and Brian quickly jumps in, but Burch didn't skip a beat. Both men end up on the outside. Burch sends Kendrick into the stairs on the outside of the ring, followed by an uppercut. Kendrick slams into the barricade on the outside of the ring. Kendrick counters, sending Burch over the announce table. Referee is counting out inside the ring. As the count gets to 8, Kendrick slides into the ring, stopping the count. Kendrick chokes Burch in the ropes and distracts the referee while DeVere pulls Burch off the apron. Once again, inside the ring, Kendrick keeps his focus on the injured leg and the knee of Burch. Burch counters with multiple elbows, followed by a flapjack. Burch hits a running clothesline, followed by an enziguri. Burch hits a dropkick for a 2 count. Burch hits Kendrick with a massive headbutt, followed by locking in the crossface. DeVere enters to the aid of Kendrick as he attacks Burch for the DQ. Winners of the match, Danny Burch wins by disqualification. After the match, Burch and Kendrick take out the knee of Burch with a chair before he's saved by O'Day Lorcan with a chair before they can break it. Announcement. It's announced that newly crowned NXT Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin will make his 205 Live debut next week. On to the main event of the evening. Angel Garza versus Tyler Breeze. Angel Garza makes his way to the ring as his music sounds in the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Garza jumps onto the apron and poses against the ropes, smiling at the crowd before entering the ring. Once in the ring, Garza smiles once again. The commentators make note of Garza showing off his pearly whites. Out next to Tyler Breeze as Breeze's music sounds in the arena. Breeze makes his way down the ramp in a Fury bell-bottom ring attire. Breeze slides onto the apron, laying across the apron on the outside of the ropes, striking a pose before rolling into the ring. Once inside the ring, Breeze poses again as he jumps onto the apron, jumps onto the top ropes, copying the same pose he has done on the apron moments before. Bell rings and the match begins. Garza can be heard telling Breeze, well, Garza mocks Breeze's pose as he jumps onto the ropes. Breeze counters on Garza, dropping him to the mat. This time Breeze showing Garza how the pose on the ropes is done. A lot of quick movements between the two men. Garza then leans down. Breeze with a massive kick to the face of Garza. Garza heads to the outside of the ring. Garza heads to the outside of the ring and denies to come to the outside of the ring. Breeze complies, and they take a little bottom rope to the outside. Garza rolls back in at the same time. Back and forth between the two. As Breeze exits, Garza enters and vice versa. Garza on the outside of the ring, grinding Breeze's face into the steps on the outside of the ring. Garza gets a quick pin for the 2 count. Breeze kicking out and trying to regain his composure, with Garza with a backhand to the chest of Breeze. Garza backs Breeze in the corner and locking and standing side headlock. Garza removes his pants for distraction. The crowd pops. Garza nailing away on Breeze. Breeze followed by a kick to the midsection of Breeze as Garza runs across the ring. Breeze hits a running forearm in the corner. Hits a Breeze running clothesline. Breeze hits a super kick mid-air on Garza. Garza drops Breeze with his knee. Hits a reverse suplex for a near fall. Breeze gets his boots up when Garza goes for an Asai moonsault and rolls him up for a near fall. Garza comes back with a wing clipper for the pin and the win. And that ends my results for SmackDown and 205 Live. Thanks and peace out. See you on Be. Control, Alt, Delete.